Hi, my name is Allison Knight, and I'm the health coach at Employee Health Center. Today, we are going to continue going through the Mindful Way workbook, and we're actually going to talk about another way of knowing. So the problem with thinking is that sometimes it becomes a cluster and that thinking slowly becomes lost in thought. We're no longer thinking, we're just kind of lost in our head. So today, we're going to do a short experiment called 2 Ways of Knowing. So I'd like you to settle into your chair, get comfortable, close your eyes. And now the first is thinking about. So I want you to take a minute or two to think about your feet without looking at them. What thoughts arise when you bring your feet to mind? You might think that you like feet, you dislike them. You might think about where they've taken you or problems you've had with them. There's no need to control the thinking. Just let that unfold naturally. Take your time and just think about your feet. And once you're ready, come back to the space and join me. Now, the second thing is tuning in directly. So now I want you to bring attention to your feet by directly bringing it into your feet. Allow that awareness to sink into and fill your feet from the inside out. So the skin and the bones and the tendons and the ligaments, sensing the bones within your feet, sensing that feeling of your soles, the ball of your foot, the heel of your foot touching the ground, exploring the boundary between your foot and the floor. And now I want you to pull your toes in, scrunch them in, and kind of sense what that feels like. Slowly breathe into them, feel the tightness, and when you're ready, ease up on the grip. But keep that awareness in your feet. What sensations do you feel now? How have they changed? Keep doing that. And then before you change positions, I want you to just sense your body as a whole, maybe noticing any sensations or tension you might feeling sitting here, and then come back to where we are. So the point of doing this experiment is to show you that in that doing mode, when we're just thinking about things, that thinking and memory are linked to taking us away from where we are. So we might travel or time travel, we talked about that, to the past or the future with worries and all of the things going on and that need to be done instead of being in that present and aware moment. When we're directly sensing, so we're feeling those sensations in our body, when we're feeling and directly tuning into our feet, we're actually quieting the mind. We're turning off that thinking. That being mode allows us to be more in tune with the present moment and be more aware. So now thinking about the 2 different things that we just did, the thinking and the doing and the directly sensing, what was the biggest difference between those 2 for you? Maybe in the thinking, you were thinking about how your feet hurt, or an experience when you went on a trip and you walked a lot. Whereas when you were in the doing and the directly sensing mode, in the being and directly sensing mode, you are truly feeling your feet, and maybe just in a way that you've never thought of. Maybe you realize, your foot doesn't necessarily feel foot-shaped, or maybe you never really realized what it felt like to tense up your toes and then that release after. So thinking about the 2 different aspects of it and how you can relate that to being lost in thought compared to being present and in the moment. So when we find that we are lost in thinking, refocusing our attention to the different places in our bodies, listening to that tension and the sensations that we're feeling, provides us a way to release ourselves from our thoughts and bring us back to the present. So the whole idea of mindfulness is really quieting the mind by focusing and tuning into the physical sensations of our body. So it's all but one big cycle. Today is just a short little clip. Next week, we're going to be taking this a little bit further by doing a walking down the street exercise. And again, we're going to compare that thinking and lost in thought and, seeing things the way we think they are versus tuning into them and experiencing the experience in the present and just as they are. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have a wonderful and mindful Monday.